Hello and welcome to the Blansko Klobasa podcast with your host, me, Craggy.
And me, Ralph.
And before we go on, actually, I've got a sausage-related fact as we're talking about the Blansko Klobasa.
Is this a new section? Like a sausage fact section?
It could be.
Really?
It could be. Don't post your klobasas.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right.
But I was doing some work recently and I found out that, the first fast food restaurant in the Czech Republic was in Brno. And it was on Lidicka. And it was called Quick. And it was opened in 1966, I think it was. And the funny thing about it was that they used to sell hot dogs. And they were called hot dogs. But the local party forced them to change the name to Park Verolical. So the first actual, I don't know if it was the first well-known Park Verolical, but the first fast food restaurant in the Czech Republic was in Brno.
It's quite interesting that when I first moved here, I went to a fast food restaurant on Lidicka, but it had changed its name to Stan's Grill. Mm-hmm. Food was absolutely awful.
Was it really?
It was awful. Hey, and on that note, Craggy, we've actually got our first question. And it's from Sam in Beckenham.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, Sam. Yeah, and he asks, why the Blansko Klobasa?
Good question.
It is. I mean, if it's the sausage section, then maybe we should answer that question. So, why would you say, Craggy? Why would you say the Blansko Klobasa? Why did we call ourselves the Blansko Klobasa?
It's hard to remember now. It was a long time ago, but I don't think a lot of thought went into it. But at the time, I mean, when we say when we ask this question, I think of the old Udolny. Yeah. When the Skoda Felicia was there, and the old remember the old metal football on top of the stand. Yeah,
and also the sign. It was Czechade Spartak Blansko, wasn't it, at the time?
Yeah. So it brings back memories. But I remember you and I would partake in the Blansko Klobasa, and Wingy was never a sausage man.
Never a sausage man.
No. And I don't remember. I remember the idea of starting a blog.
I think it's because the Klobasa is like the pie in Britain.
Yeah.
So, it's a sausage for those people who don't know what a Klobasa is. And it's a traditional snack for, at Czech football grounds all over the country, really. So I think the idea of the Blansko Klobasa just sounded good at the time.
It sounded good, yeah.
And we just rolled with it.
We did. We absolutely did roll with it. I mean,
it did get a roll with it as well.
Yeah. And it was. You're right though. It's every game. It's a staple of Czech football, isn't it? The Klobasa, definitely.
So there's your answer, Sam.
Yeah,
that's the reason. And we're going strong. No Klobasa, no party.
No Klobasa, no party. I mean, there was a time when we were comparing the quality of Klobasa in the leagues, weren't we?
Did we talk about the worst Klobasa? We did, didn't we? In the first episode?
No, we may well have done, but it's such a long time ago.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it. For me, it was always Polna that stuck into.
Sometimes I miss it because we don't eat Klobasa so much anymore, to be honest. No. But, the name sticks.
Yeah.
You can't say
works.
The Blansko and drop the Klobasa, can we?
No. Well, I was talking to someone earlier and today, actually, and they said, what was I up to yesterday? And I said, I went to watch football. And she said to me, were the Blansko Klobasa playing? I said, no. I said, it's not Blansko Klobasa. I said, it's FK Blansko.
Hey, Craggy, once we start our Patreon, I reckon we should start sponsoring the club anyway.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, coming up on the show, we're going to talk about the 2 home games that we've had recently. We'll also talk about trips to Strani and, for me, to Trenčín. Talk about our trip to Zbrojovka this week. And we'll give a little weather update. And we'll also say hello to Prostějov striker Filip Žák.
Hello, I'm Filip Žák.
Hello!
Okay, so let's start with...
Craggy, before we start, I don't know if you remember, but on the last pod, you were complaining about
complaining.
Well, were you complaining?
Do I complain?
I don't know. But you were complaining about paying 100 crowns. I'm going to use the verb complaining. 100 crowns to get into Zlínsko.
Yes, a bit of a shock.
Now you're a Villa fan, and I have to ask this question. Like, I know it's not Blansko related, but what do you think of the prices that Villa are charging for Champions League games?
Well, talk about shock. Yeah, this has kind of rattled the Villa fan base. Let's say it's for the Bayern game. It's £95, I think. Comparatively, I think Liverpool are charging £60 for Champions League tickets. Newcastle were charging something similar last year when they got into the Champions League, obviously into Europe for a long time, for the first time in a long time.
How do the club justify it?
Well, they're justifying it by saying it's fighting this sort of FFP. Every club is kind of talking about this.
Financial fair play.
Yeah, financial fair play. And well, that's kind of predictable, isn't it? Because okay, how much are they really getting from match day revenue? And if they were charging, say, £60, how much is it? I don't know how much they would get. Let's say 3 or 4 million or something.
Do you think they'll sell out? Do you think the games will sell out?
I think they will, because it's Villa's first time in the Champions League for a long time. And especially with the history of Villa against Bayern, I think that one particularly will sell out, because Villa won the European Cup then against Bayern Munich in the final. So for a lot of... This is Villa's 150th anniversary as well this year. So it's left a real bad taste for a lot of Villa fans. And they're saying, how can you justify this? When really other clubs aren't having to do this. So why Villa? Why the first year of the Champions League after such a long time? And, it's not... this is a big part of it, but it's not just that. I haven't been to Villa Park to see, but there's been disasters with like overflowing urinals and not being able to get to the bars and things like this. There's a lot of bad stuff going on that side. So the performances and everything are brilliant. Unai Emery has obviously galvanised Villa, but there is a side that's kind of, this sort of PR side of everything, marketing has kind of dropped the ball on it, really. The worst was not just that these £95 prices, but that they increased the price of disabled parking by 100% at Villa. And everybody went nuts, as you'd expect. And then they backtracked on it. So they apologised.
Of course they did.
Yeah, well, they're trying to get away with anything, obviously. Obviously, some Villa fans, these kind of passengers in life will just sort of, some of them are just saying, well, if you can't afford it, you can't go, it's tough. If you want success, this is what it is, these kind of people that would just take anything, it doesn't matter.
Tories.
Yeah, Tories, definitely. Yeah, they are these passengers that say, yeah, just hit me. How hard, So, yeah. I shouldn't, in inverted commas, complain.
I know you weren't complaining. You were making an observation.
But £100 is very different to 100 crowns.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
So that's my thoughts on it anyway. So it's
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the home games first. We saw the first one was the 1-1 with Unichov.
Yeah, these are, the two games, we could probably talk about them both at the same time. Like they're both the very good teams, like very strong teams, like an experienced teams. Slavia Kroměříž have just come down. Unichov have been up or thereabouts for quite a while. I suppose like the 1-1 draw, I thought we were excellent.
Yeah,
I thought we really, and we had a few of our own players out, and we rested a few players as well, I think. So I think we played really, really well. And I wouldn't say that our performances have been that bad anyway, losing to Kroměříž. What I want to talk about is the dog again.
Yeah.
I don't know if you mentioned
best fan.
I don't know if you mentioned. I don't know if you remember, guys, but we talked about the dog behind the goal and behind the fence actually. So I went to go and talk to the owner at halftime, and she told me that the dog's banned.
Yeah, that's quite sad, isn't it?
Not allowed in. But he really is the most enthusiastic fan.
Never down.
Exactly. Yeah, always jumping up and down. The most enthusiastic football dog fan? Is that possible?
Are there many famous football dog fans?
There's actually an Instagram account which is Dogs of Football Grounds or something like that. I
Is
don't
there
know.
really?
Somebody's going to correct me on that because I know that's not the real name. But yeah,
Can't you share your selfie with that dog?
I might have to. Yeah. So I had a selfie with the dog, but the dog, well, obviously, stardom's gone to its head, so it kind of turned away.
When you went to take the photo.
Exactly.
Typical.
Typical. Yeah. But what would you say about the games? Because I mean, we went to both of them. They're both on a Friday night. Do you like Friday night games?
Yeah, I do. I like Friday night games.
Yeah.
I don't like Wednesday night games. We'll get onto that later. But
Yeah.
Friday night games, I do. I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
I have to say that, I mean, it's hard talking about this now after some recent performances, which have still been, like you said, they've still been good, but there's a different feeling now. When we had that 1-1 draw with Unichov, it's one of those draws that feels like a win in a way. You know, like we're playing against a very good team. And Blansko played with such positivity, I think. I feel like they've been a really positive team to watch. And that was a great game as well against
Have you watched the
Unichov.
goal back?
No.
So it's Don Blažić again. You know, I keep calling him Trent because he plays these beautiful kind
Hollywood
of,
passes.
Yeah, beautiful Hollywood passes, and it was his ball over the top that was knocked back by Manji and knocked away by Martin Sedlak, and I thought, wow, you know, like, and we were in control of the game for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but they're such a strong team that, I mean, you just can't rest.
No.
You can't rest. So, yeah, I think 1-1 draw was a fair result there. And Kromjajic, what would you say? I think we had plenty of chances.
I think we had plenty of chances, and it's, as you said recently, I think you posted something about it's about taking your chances, isn't it? And I think against Kromjajic, well, a couple of rockets over the bar.
Well, Honza Novak, I don't know how he did it. He spooned it over the bar from within the 6-yard box. It seemed easier to score. The dog was going mental.
Yeah.
But he always does, Yeah.
And, but again, a decent performance.
Yeah.
Good game.
And then, of course, you know, like following week, we had Strani on the Sunday, and I think you were in Trenčín on the Saturday. So, yeah, just for the listeners, you know, you couldn't make the game.
No,
What were you doing in Trenčín? Because Trenčín is one of my favourite places. I had a girlfriend from Trenčín for a little while. I used to hang out there quite a lot.
Didn't you used to go to a club in Trenčín?
I did, Club Luch.
Club
I loved
Luch,
it, yeah.
that's it. Yeah, I played Club Luch, didn't I? I've just remembered.
Did you actually play Club Luch?
Not this time, but it was a year or two ago, I think. But yeah, 2 years ago, maybe.
Honestly, I love that place.
But when I played there, they'd moved. It was a different place to where you used to go.
Because, you know, you obviously are interested in old cinemas. And I think Club Luch used to be an old cinema, I think.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So this time, no, we had a concert. My band, for anyone listening, quick plug, Craggy Collide. We had...
Where did you get the name from?
Well, it's a difficult one.
Sorry, guys.
This was at Hviezda. It was a cultural centre in Trenčín, and it was like a European Union funded, I think, event. It was really hot, and we were playing in the afternoon. The thing about Trenčín is it's not very far from Brno, is it? But it can be a bit of a nightmare to get to if Slovak trains really don't want you to get anywhere.
Do we really want to talk about Slovak Railway?
No, I think I've traumatised enough.
But did you enjoy it? I mean,
yeah, the concert was great, actually. There was a real mixture of different bands and quite a few people, quite a lot of fun. And they treated us really well. We got paid, we got free alcohol, free food, and yeah, it's really... And somebody was there to interview the bands and chat and do all that kind of stuff.
Because Trenčín for me is kind of like the heart of like Slovak music, really. Because, of course, they've got Pohoda there, which is a great festival. I don't know if you've been. I've been a few times.
No, I've never been. But, one of my friends, Mishak, he has the band Box, and they're from Trenčín, and they're a really great band.
And do they play Pohoda?
I don't know if they have done previously. I mean, I'm not sure they're together anymore, sadly, but they were a great band. But I don't know if they played Pohoda.
Okay, all right.
And there's a couple of other festivals as well at Trenčín, isn't there? Because it's got the big aerial for it, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, so I went to Strani away on my own.
And how do you feel about going to games on your own?
Well, I do it quite a lot, actually. I mean, I enjoy, of course, like traveling with friends, but I don't know. Sometimes it's quite nice. A lot of the time, I would go and watch games. I would be kind of like, I'd be there incognito, with a handful of others. But of course now, like the Blansko players are kind of looking out for us. So they're really looking in the crowd beforehand to see if the Blansko Klobasa are there. And of course I was there on my own. So I don't actually mind it. I just, grab some lunch and, maybe this time I did a little bit of a hike. And it's all right. It's all right. I have to say that I could do it. I'm not sure whether I could do it for, say, a Swansea game. I don't know why.
No, really?
No, or a Wales game. I feel as though I'd need to be there with people. But
is it the community thing or?
I don't know. I think it's like, because I'm so used to kind of like the ground hopping. Like when you're ground hopping, you can choose where you sit really, or choose where you stand. But when you go and watch your own team play, a lot of the time you're in the same place. So sometimes it can. Yeah, Swansea and Wales, it can sometimes be a bit of a problem for me, I think. But other than that, I did it on Saturday as well when I was up in Podzibrady and Nimburg and Kotzen, I had a good day. I had a few beers, but I had a good day and some good food as well. And like 3 really nice little towns, actually. So, so I'm all right with it. I'm all right. But Strani was great.
But when you say about not going to Swansea or Wales on your own, actually, just generally traveling in the Czech Republic is quite a lot of fun on your own. But I would probably not do it so much back in Britain on my own. Not just about the football. I can't imagine me just choosing some random town in Britain to go to so much.
I think the adventure of going to a Czech town is still there. It is that sense of going to somewhere new, even though you've been there before. And Strani was a new place for me. It's on the Czech-Slovak border. I stopped off in Uherský Brod beforehand and grabbed some lunch at that place which is just below the town hall. I can't remember what it's called, but it's
we went there last time, didn't we?
It's a little bit like it feels like it's a chain of restaurants, or pubs, gastro pubs. But
Radagast, isn't it?
No, it's they do.
No, it's the local beer. Yeah.
Which isn't a good beer actually.
No, but
I don't know if it's going downhill.
Depends how hard it is to get up that hill,
Yeah, that's true. But Uherský Brod looked great in the sunshine, because I think we often
like
go
the
there.
town. I quite
we
like
often go
it.
there when it's quite grey, though, don't we?
Yeah. Actually, I can't remember it in the sun.
Yeah, so I took the bus. It's probably about 15-20 minutes from Uherský Brod to Strani. I didn't realise how close it was to the border, but it's right on the border. And I wanted to walk and get just to walk to the border of the Czech and Slovak republics, but in the end, I kind of mistimed it and ended up arriving at the ground like 2 minutes into the game. Yeah, so I want to talk about a couple of things. First of all, Strani is in a beautiful part of the Czech Republic. I didn't realise how much I love Zlínský kraj because you've got Strani and also I was in Bystrice pod Hostinem and just two kind of like really beautiful places. Like the hills are fantastic. I think it's the White Carpathians, Billy Carpathian. Yeah, so anyway, I was there and watched the game. Another penalty miss. That's something we missed talking about, wasn't it? Because David Bednář, who's been brilliant since he's been back, considering he's 40.
Let's just not put him on penalty duty again.
But Tully missed a penalty as well. And I know you saw the Bednář penalty and you were very...
surprised?
Yeah.
Impressed in a way.
Tully's was worse.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was worse. Sorry, Tully, we love you. But
yeah, we love them all.
Yeah, we love them all. But it was, it trickled and we would have been 1-0 up. And then literally they scored. Blažič went off, Dom went off with a hamstring, but before he pulled his hamstring, he made a fantastic tackle, like a goal-saving tackle. And then he went off and we conceded 2 goals in a minute.
Yeah, he's missed, isn't he?
He's already missed, yeah. But I don't want him to be on the bench, kind of like, barking instructions. I want him to be in the centre of defence because we definitely miss him.
Yeah, we miss him, really need him.
But the best thing about Strani was like the vista at some of these grounds, mate. It's just incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Like, I think, I'm not sure if you saw the photos I posted.
Did, yeah.
It's so beautiful. It's quite a new ground, new stand. Very partisan crowd.
Yeah.
Like really, like very partisan. But also when Don went off, because he was kind of like he was helped off the pitch, they clapped and they applauded, like they clapped him off, which I thought was very, very nice. But then, of course, they just went mental at everything else. But it's a great place to watch football. And I think definitely if you get the chance to go next season, you should go. But the thing is there was no bus back. There was no public transport back.
Typical.
So do you know what I did? I travelled with the players.
And how was it?
Well, do you know, like, I've done it before. And when I did it before, fans were at the front of the bus and players were at the back. But on this occasion, it said sit where you like. So I sat at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Philip Smirchka described me as being as quiet as a mouse because I was quite quiet. I was quite respectful
of course,
being in their environment, really.
Yeah.
But what really interested me was they were very disappointed. Like when they got on the bus, there was nobody really spoke. And then they started playing general knowledge quizzes at the back. Like I was expecting them to be, I don't know, on their phones and stuff like that. But no, there was
pods in the ears.
Yeah. But there was a group of players, like the core of the team, I would say, that were at the back, like just doing a general knowledge quiz.
Okay.
Which is
sharpening their minds.
Definitely. They need to sharpen their skills as well. But, like, sorry.
Jokes.
Yeah, jokes. But yeah, it was really interesting to see, So, yeah, it got dropped off in Slatina. Never a great place to be dropped off. I mean, I was a bit worried when they said, we're dropping you off in Slatina.
Yeah, when you talk about places in Brno, it's not the most exciting place to be, and it's quite far away.
It is, yeah. But, of course, the bus was going on to Blansko, so that's where they pick up the players and they drop them off. And I got the trolley bus back in. Yeah, without the 3 points, 1-0 defeat. Sadly, 2-0 defeat.
But how was the performance?
I think the performances are good. And I spoke to Philip Smirchka, the captain, today, and he says the performances are good as well. We're just lacking something. It's just not happening.
And that can be said also about last night, isn't it? Last night we were at Srbska for Blansko away at Zbrojovka B.
What a soulless ground.
It's not an enjoyable place to sit and watch the football.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's like that for the 18. That's how I remember it. It's just not a very good place to watch football, I don't think.
Well, you said that the last time you'd been there was when I was there with you, innit? And that was what, 12 years?
12 years ago. It's 12 years ago, and I haven't been back.
And that was the only time I've been, is that once. That was against Pilsen, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think maybe I was there one more time because I always think about like either Liberec or Slavia Prague where I kind of left after 70 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe it was a little bit, but it's definitely that season. I remember that was my last season there. I haven't been back and it felt a bit strange.
Yeah.
Because, for those people who don't know, I used to go and watch Zbrojovka quite a lot, so... And luckily, I found Blansko, but it was such an awful place to watch football, and football was terrible at the time.
Yeah, well, I'm not used to being so far away from when the play was on the other side of the pitch, you could barely see what was happening over there.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, and so no, you're right. It's a soulless place, but of course, it wasn't even supposed to be there originally.
No, it's supposed to be at Dosta Bistrica, which is a much more atmospheric ground.
Yeah,
nice little ground
really
by the river.
Beautiful little place, beautiful stand.
Yeah, you can hear the animals from the zoo. Yeah, because the zoo's very close by.
Yeah, and there's an away end we could have been in.
And there's an away end we could have been.
And we weren't in there at Zbrojovka, unfortunately.
Well, what did you think of the game yesterday?
I thought, well, it's a game of two halves, if I can use an old cliche. The first half, a lot of the game, a lot of the first half was a pretty boring game, but we were never out of it. But there was a period in the first half where we were not connecting.
Yeah.
But the second half really came to life, and it was just such a shame that we went that goal down, because I thought we played better than Zbrojovka. I thought we, like earlier in the season, we were quite positive. We were playing with positivity. This game was a bit more urgency, let's say. It was less about positivity. It was more about urgency, but it was a good performance, really good. But like you said earlier, there's just, or like Philip Smirchka said, there's something missing in it. There's one like key component somewhere that is kind of missing.
Yeah, I think it's. I think Tully needs some help up front. And I think if we looked at the Zbrojovka, the young Zbrojovka forward who was quick, held the ball up well.
And number
Only
16.
18. He's 18.
No,
yeah.
sorry, the number is. He was
Yeah,
number
number
16.
Yeah. He was brilliant. The kind of player that I think would benefit, Blansko. But of course, it looks like he's going to go on to better things. But we lost 1-0.
Yeah. Not a hammering or anything like that. And I thought we played well.
Yeah, we walked back into town afterwards. It's about, probably about 2 kilometres. And stopped off in... Another thing, if people have read the blog, we used to do top 10 pubs. And we stopped off in a place called Usaimona, which was definitely in our top 10.
Yeah, it was a bit of a staple for us back then, wasn't it?
Yeah. How did you feel going back there? Because it'd been a while. I think I was there last year with some good friends of mine.
Yeah. For me, it's maybe even I don't know if it's a couple of years. Maybe I did visit last year, but I don't go often now for no real reason, I don't think. So
location, mate.
Yeah, I guess that's just it. You get a bit lazy, don't you?
Yeah.
If you tend to drink close to home. It was really nice to be in there. Always welcoming, friendly place. It's and always serves a good beer. And like you said, that
what did you go for?
Well, I went for the Roger.
There's a beer called Roger.
Yeah, interesting name,
Unbelievable. Roger Pivo.
Yeah,
who comes up with that kind of name?
Yeah, it's an odd one. It was founded 2021 or something. It's quite recent, isn't it? Yeah. So I don't know much about it at the moment, but I did have a good Roger. It was nice. But you went for the Kotchebosch, which is a good staple beer, isn't it?
And the beer and the prices are okay.
They're not.
The prices are okay, and it's that Simon, who's owned the pub for a long time. I mean, obviously wasn't very original when he came up with his name, with the name of the pub. Sorry, not his name. I'm sure his parents gave him that. but I think. He really looks after the place, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Really cares about the beer. So that's why it has such a good reputation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And as you're listening, as we're talking about the top 10s that we used to do and things like that, look out for it. Again, we'll probably be starting some more of these up now that the blog is up and running.
Definitely, the blog's up and running again. So, definitely we'll look to do that. I'm looking forward to going to some pubs. I think I'd definitely like to try the beer snacks again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was Zbrojovka Brno. Stopping off in Usaimona was probably the highlight, really.
Yeah, and then
performance was good. The performance was good in the pub as well.
And then we finished. Performance was good in the pub, definitely. And then we finished on Moravska Namysti on Moravak, didn't we? For what could be the final beer outside. I don't know because the weather is turning. So,
oh man, the weather is turning.
The weather is turning, and by the time you listeners will hear this podcast, we will know what is happening tomorrow, but not tomorrow. So on Saturday, we're recording this on the Thursday before our trip to Hlubina. But the weather has turned and we're not even sure it's going to be on, are we?
Well, I mean, they're talking about it being the worst floods for 50 years, you know, and I remember 97, I remember 2002, and if they are worse than that, well,
we're in the shit, really.
Yeah. So again, I mean, that's the reason why I contacted Philip today to ask him whether the game would be on, and he said probably not because there's a lot of rain expected. So
yeah, but you're going up there anyway, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm going to see my mate Glenn, who listens to the podcast. Hi, Glenn. Looking forward to seeing him. I haven't seen him for a while.
He's a good
guy. So we're going to be out in Katowice, probably going to watch a few games there if they're on, and just avoiding the rain.
Yeah.
Best way to avoid the rain? In a pub.
Absolutely.
So that's where I'll be going, but Polish beer is not so good, so I have to find some tap rooms or something like that. But so it's a little bit of a shame really, because I think we were looking forward to going to
Hlubina. Definitely. That's what I was about to say. I will be joining you in Ostrava if the weather holds out, but it's been raining all day today. It's forecast to rain all day tomorrow and all day Saturday, so it's highly unlikely.
And I think it'd be wise to call the game off. I think because they're saying not to travel.
Yeah.
But I am.
Yeah, my friend who works for Brno City Council, and she told me today that they had, in Znojmo, they had decided to cancel the Winobrani. So it's not even on. So if that's not happening, and you can imagine how much money is made there, how much effort goes into planning it and so on, they've cancelled it. So
that's a big move.
Yeah.
That's a big move. Yeah, so stay inside, kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, be safe.
Be safe, yeah. And guys, like we had a question from Sam today. If anybody has got any questions for us, please definitely hit us up.
Yeah, please feel free. And on that note, also remember, if you're not following us yet, do follow us on Instagram, the Blansko Klobasa, and Twitter and Facebook, and also follow the blog because it is up and running. And as we said, there'll be some top 10 pubs. We'll be arguing with Gourmet Bruno maybe on some of their top choices of pub. You heard it here first. Okay, and coming up now is the second part of the interview that we did recently with David Fisher. If you haven't heard the first part, please go to our episode number 1, which is the episode after the pilot episode, where we talked to him a lot about his career up to this point.
Great, I have to say, I'm looking forward to the second part of the interview, actually, because definitely one of my favourite moments of the year interviewing him. It's such good fun. So yeah, give both parts a listen, guys.
So how was last season for you at Glentoran?
Very good. Like I said, it took a couple months for me to sort of get going because I didn't really have a pre-season there. It took me a couple months to sort of get to know the boys. Living away from home, obviously, first time, and that's sort of getting used to stuff. So it took me a couple months to sort of adjust. But like once I got it, never looked back. I guess since I think it was like sort of early November time, I scored against Ballymena, and then wasn't taken out of the team ever since. So had really good season. Scored in a cup final, which was obviously. I think was probably my highlight, like just that feeling of I don't know. It was an equaliser as well, and it was so early on.
Yeah, I saw. I watched it. Yeah.
It was important because I didn't really have the best of games, if I'm truly honest, in the first half. Like gaffers come in and be like, "You two have got 15 minutes." So
really, that's what he said.
so I was like, right, got to get it together. So managed to get the goal. I think it was only like 2 minutes into the second half. So I was like, that's good then.
What was your favourite goal last season?
There'll be that one. That's for sure. I really like that goal. I would say also I did actually really like. So that was that one, but I also saw it against Larne as well. It was on TV. We lost 2-1, and I just managed to. It was. One of our boys had intercepted a pass and then he's driven forward and he's played it into me. I remember just seeing like sort of 6 boys around me and I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to do this? Managed to grab a yard and put it into the back of the net. I was just like, how did I even do that? It's like for myself.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's a brilliant goal. I watched it earlier actually because I would say that was probably the best goal that I saw you score. I like the header as well, but the goal against there really were so many players around you in quite a tight angle and you knocked it into the near post, didn't you? Like, which is obviously, is that the one? And I think you scored another goal against Larne, didn't you? Where you kind of like sidestepped in the top corner. Was that against Larne as well?
No, so I can't even remember any of the goal. I don't think I hit top corner last year, but the cup final was against Larne, which was the one with the near post. And then there was another one against Larne, which was actually far post actually. There was two against them, but 2 very good goals. I was actually really, really well pleased with those ones.
that header against Coleraine was also quite nice. The one where like it came in and you nodded it into the far corner.
Into the far corner. Yeah. That was actually quite a nice one. Like I actually didn't realize it had gone in, and then I just turned around. I guess as I flicked it, and I was like, oh my days, I've actually put that. It was quite a weird sort of angle and everything like that, like the way
I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if you, because I watched it on YouTube. It says brilliant David Fisher header and embarrassing celebration.
Is that what it says?
And I think the celebration is you kind of like throwing a dart or something. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I saw James Madison do it. Yeah. And then I was just like, oh, why not? Like, just have a bit of fun with some celebrations. Because usually, like, my celebrations have been just like a fist pump or something, or I don't know, just something quite basic. So I was just like, oh, let me just do something a bit different for once. So I done that, and then obviously, a few like the fans started to like it, and I got a few messages and that, and so I just carried it on. But I've got a new one ready for this season. So
Really,
Oh,
I
really?
was going to ask you if you could do one for the Blansko Klobasa, like like some kind of eating of Otsni Knedliki, kind of rubbing your stomach or something. If you get a hat
I might
trick
have
this year,
to.
can you do it?
No, I might have to. I might have to do that one. If we've got a
Remember
TV
that.
game next
Remember
Friday, it might have to be on there.
that. Who
That'll be
would you say
class.
is the best? Who would you say is the best player you've played with?
Best player. That's a good question. In terms of in terms of one of my best sort of connections, like I always had a good connection with a goalkeeper called Matt Cox. He's at Brentford now.
Uh-huh.
Uh, he's a young goalie. He's a year younger than me. I always really enjoyed playing with him because, especially when I was playing sort of on the wing, like he would just pop the ball up and just those sidewinder sort of zings. Like
Yeah.
we just had that sort of thing. Even in training, like he would just pop it up, zing it into my feet. Always used to have that good connection with him, and I always used to think like this kid's gonna go far. Um, so he would definitely be up there.
Where did you play? Where did you play with him at Wimbledon?
Yeah, this would have been at Wimbledon. I played with him for since like under 15s through till like maybe first or second year pro. I can't remember, but like I always was like, wow, this kid's good, seriously good. I always like Ayub Assal as well.
Yeah.
Um, he obviously got his move to Qatar for I think it was over a million quid. So like he was very good. Um, Number one, Ali Al Hamadi, gone to
Yeah, he played for Swansea. Played for
did he?
Swansea.
Oh yeah,
I
of
saw
course he
him.
did. Of course. Yeah. I remember now.
I saw him play out in the Czech Republic for Swansea under-18s
No way.
against AS Trencin, and he was giving because of course you can hear everything. He
Yeah,
was giving the defenders so much stick, but he was
was
shouting at
it?
them in English, talking about their breath smells and like he
That's
really
so
lost
funny.
control of himself. He's raging over it all
That's
the
funny,
time.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
he's honestly he is rapid as well.
Yeah.
Rapid.
At Glentoran, do you play with Niall McGinn? Is he still there?
He is still there. He is still there. Yeah. Honestly, one of the best
How's
guys
he?
you'll ever meet. One of the
Yeah.
best guys you'll ever meet. Yeah. Like in terms of a player, like he's somebody that you always want in your squad. Um, Calm head, cool head. I think it's a similar sort of theme, like Chris Gunn's, similar to sort of Chris Gunn's in that way. Like ultimate professional, will always do everything there's asked, and he's I think he's 37 now. Now, don't kill me for saying
Yeah,
if
yeah,
that's
he's
wrong,
getting
but
on.
like
He's brilliant.
he honestly he's the ultimate professional. Like he like whenever he can, he doesn't miss a sesh. Like he's always taking care of himself, getting massages when he needs it, doing his recovery, doing his gym when he needs to, um, and just looks after himself so well. So again, another ultimate professional who's so calm as well. I think,
Has he
like I said,
reinvented himself now? Because he used to be an old school winger. That's how I remember.
yeah, I say reinvented, right? He's obviously, when you look at him when he was younger, like he was striding out quick and everything like that. Obviously, as you get older, you lose that pace, but like he moves very well for
Yeah,
someone his age. Like he moves very well. He's still sharp off the mark, and he can get that yard to get his cross in. And he's not someone who's impatient and will just be like he's direct, but he's not, if that makes sense. Like
yeah,
he's more than happy to take someone down the line. If the opportunity to cross isn't there, he's more than happy to just to come out, let it come to the other side and that. So yeah,
yeah. He's a great player. I have to say, I love watching him for Celtic, and of course, his biggest move was to Aberdeen.
Aberdeen.
Yeah, he's massive at Aberdeen.
Yeah,
Have Glentoran fans got a song for you?
they do. Yeah, they do. They do.
What is it? What is it?
So it's is it? It's what do you call that song? I think it's September where they go so they go oh hey oh super baby fish oh hey.
Whoa!
So
How
I
is it
actually
when
really
you?
like it. I actually really like it. Because I could you can hear it like because it's quite a catchy tune, right? Like,
Oh,
you can hear it going. So um the guy who actually made it up, he messaged me on Insta and what was it? He was filming his kid like just like quite like on like his kid didn't know that he was being filmed, but his kid was singing it in the in the living room. Just I think he was just like in his Glentoran top, just singing it, and he was just like, look what I've done to my kid now, and it was quite funny. So
Fantastic.
quite funny, yeah.
Mhm. Great. So, what's been your favourite moment in football so far, David?
Favorite moment. Um, that's a good question. That's a good question. In term, in terms of uh stepping out onto the pitch for the first time, I think maybe making my debut, having a good game on my debut was really good. Again, the cup final was good. Scoring and everything like that. If I was me, I think I've got to go with my debut so far. I haven't. This will change when I win something, but like I think my debut's probably in terms of like a milestone and everything like that. I think that's probably what I've got to go for.
Yeah, well, there's
When
plenty
you
more
make
to
your
come
debut,
ahead.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely. You're a young man. Making your debut, did you know exactly where your family were in the crowd?
yeah.
Did you?
I did. I made sure I saw them before the game, so I like just there was maybe like just in case I scored or did so, I could maybe like have a look at them or like
Mhm.
wave at them, something like that. So yeah, I made sure I knew where they were.
What's it like living in Belfast? And
I
do you
like
live in
it.
the city? Do you live close to the ground? Where are you?
Yeah. So currently, I'm just south. I'm actually closer to. I'm actually like I think 5 minutes away from Linfield. So like the biggest rivals. Um, but no, I really like Belfast. I think it suits me quite well because it's not like it's obviously it's the capital and everything like that. So like it's got everything that you need and everything's within close proximity. So I really like it. People are always nice. It's actually quite cool. Sometimes I get recognized out on the street. So
Oh, yeah.
it's always yeah. No, I've actually had quite a few times. Like I was actually surprised. Like I was thinking, there's no like I can get on with my life here and whatever. But like you always get like, especially if you're in East Belfast, like you always get somebody who will stop you. Or for example, there's actually builders next door right now working on the house next door, and they're massive Glentoran fans. So like obviously they stop and say hello every day after training. So
Do they
yeah.
challenge you to a game of darts?
To be fair, I did actually get challenged. Not even joking.
Really? Yeah?
Really?
Are you any good at
Yeah.
darts?
No, oh no. I don't even play darts. I don't even play.
You can see that by the way you threw it.
Yeah, the way I threw it, it's not quite there, is it? Probably should have done a bit of practice before I done that, but
Have you met any Czechs while you've been in Belfast? Have you heard the Czech
I
language?
actually haven't. I actually haven't. But the thing is, I haven't actually met them like face to face. But I know. So the accountant who like obviously does the stuff at Glentoran, right? He mentioned to me the other day. He was like well, not the other day, but like he mentioned to me before that there's actually a Czech couple that he knows in Belfast somewhere called someone called Pavel, I think. So he said that he was going to bring him along to a game at some point this season. So I might meet him at some point. But yeah, there's definitely not very many. I would say that in terms of I might
Yeah.
hear maybe Polish, but like that's about it.
And how do you spend your free time? Like what does a professional footballer do? Because I mean, what's training? Like, do you train in the morning or like, how does it work?
So yeah, we'll train in the morning. We usually get in for about 9:30, and then we'll sort of go through. Everyone's got their own sort of whatever they need to go through, but we'll have breakfast. Then we'll go through our pre-ab stuff, and we'll do some activation. Then we'll head out to the pitch sort of for 11. And then we'll do sort of an hour and a half, sort of usually I'd say on the pitch, and then depending on the day. Actually, I say that every day we do the gym after, whether that's upper body gym, lower body gym, like a hybrid. It's all sort of, it changes depending on the load that week. So yeah, so let's say we've got Saturday, then another game. The next game is Saturday. Then we can work a bit harder that week. So for example, today we were able to work a little bit harder. Like we most boys sort of covered sort of 8.5K today, and done a gym session as well. So it's a tough day. But then, like, for example, if you've got a Saturday, Tuesday game, then so you play the game on Saturday, and everything's focused on recovering for the game on Tuesday and making sure you're fresh and you're fit, and that everybody's sort of done their work in terms of analysis and that for the game, so we're all ready for that.
So when you go onto the
day or the weeks go.
When you go on, sorry, I think when you go onto the pitch, like for training, like, are you working on like your own tactics, or are you working on the tactics of the other team? Like, how, like, do you know who you're up against, like who the defenders are, what their strengths and weaknesses are?
So usually, so it depends on what day it is, but like, let's say it's a Saturday week, so we're playing Saturday, then next Saturday. Monday, Tuesday won't really be that focused on the sort of game. It'll be a lot of, especially the Monday, some of the boys who didn't play will have a bit of a sharper day in terms of they'll do a little bit longer than the boys who played the game. So it'll be like that. But then it will all be sort of geared in terms of, let's say the goal for the game on Saturday is to try and play pass as soon as we can into the striker's feet. Like, a lot of it will be sort of like possession, with sort of points focused on, like, maybe if you fire a ball into the striker or something like that, like into an end man or something like that, then you get a point, and it's all focused on that. So it's sort of gearing you up slightly. So that's the start of the week, and then Thursday, Friday will be a bit more on the opposition. Thursday more so. Friday's more about how we can sort of how we can hurt them, and that's how it always should be anyway. In my opinion, you can do your little bits and pieces on them, but ultimately, if you're worried about too much about the other team, then like, you're not going to play your own game. So yeah, so that Friday, then you start to sort of look at how you're going to press, how you're going to hurt them, how you're going to do everything. So yeah, that's how it sort of works.
Are there any aspects of training that you don't like, or aspects that you do like? Because a lot of footballers, some things they hate, don't they, when it comes to training?
So for me, I always hate. So the thing that I hate the most, right, is any sort of aerobic type running in pre-season. Like, I just hate just doing like a slow running. That's just I hate it. My body's not built for it. Like, my energy sit where you want to, how, like, the scientific side, I'm just not built for it. I'm always sort of nearer the back. But like, in terms, like, I'll flip it on that. Like, if you I always say to them anyway, like, if you get me doing sprints, like, I'll be up near the top. Like, even today, I was the fastest player today. So like, the stuff like that, I enjoy. Like, I enjoy doing that. That's why I train for. So I was the aerobic running, and also, do you know what I just don't like possession games. Like, I just want to shoot. I want to shoot. I want to score goals.
Proper striker, yeah.
Yeah. No, obviously that selfish sort of side of me comes in, but like, obviously for me, if there's no sort of end product to it, like, it's not that I don't like. It's not that I don't like. Obviously, I'll do it and everything like that, and I'll do it to the best I can. But it's just something that, like, possession is just possession at the end of the day.
When you come back after kind of like like after a half a month off or a month off or something,
yeah,
like, do you have to kind of be weighed, and like, do they tell you, too many fruit dumplings, and
too many of us. Nah, yeah. So the thing is, I keep myself in good condition anyway. Like, I'm as you probably see on like my Instagram and stuff,
Yeah.
like I always sort of do my training, and obviously I did my training for the first time out in Czech Republic this summer. I always keep myself in good condition, but you always get so you get your body fats and your weight before you leave, and then they do it when you come back, and then it's done sparsely throughout the season. So like I would say every sort of couple of months, whatever. It's just random, just to check that you're still within your sort of weight range. Obviously, there'll be fluctuations, whatever. So like plus or minus a kg or two, like you're all sweet. But like if you suddenly gained a lot of fat compared to like let's say somebody's gained like 2 kilos, but their body fat stayed the same. Like that's okay, that's fine. It's just being able to keep yourself in sort of like a lower body fat sort of condition, which helps you out a bit more, doesn't it?
What's the bleep test like?
Oh, we don't. So different clubs do different things. I've never done a bleep test. So what I've done is a yo-yo test, which is very similar to a bleep test, but it's essentially you start at a higher level, and the levels progress quicker, so that you're doing more sort of recovery runs.
Mm-hmm.
There's so another one that I've done is, I don't know what the test is called, but I always call it like the ABC test. So you've got, oh no, sorry, not ABC, 30-15. So you've got 30 seconds of work and you've got 15 seconds of rest. That one's probably the hardest one that I've done. Like in terms of like it is very difficult, very, very difficult. But we did a 2K time trial this year. So run 2K as fast as you can.
What was your time?
I think it was just about 8 minutes. So, like I said, I'm not the greatest at that. So it's not really mine. But yeah,
Still pretty good. I think my record was like I don't know, is it 5 minutes? Something I don't know.
5 minutes,
20 maybe. I don't know, 5 minutes 20. And also, yeah, because I noticed on your Instagram that you kind of like you had a trainer out here.
Yeah.
How did you find him? Like, did somebody recommend him or?
No, so I don't know. I can't remember how I come across him, but I come across his page on Instagram, and I just DM'd him, and I was just like, look, like, I'm looking for somebody to take some training for me over the summer, and I said, can you do that for me? Like, and he said, yeah, no, of course, come down. We can do some stuff. And he actually works at Sigma Olomouc.
I think he works with a friend of mine, actually, Tomasz Vasilev, or a friend of ours, actually, should I say? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, who's the under 16 coach there.
Oh yeah, okay. He would have worked with him then. Yeah, because he does the young. He did the youngest. He actually works at Slavia Prague B team now. Slavia Prague.
Oh, he would have been there yesterday. I was at Vyshkov. He probably would have been there. What's his name?
Marek is his name. So yeah, no, he was very good. He was very, very good. It was good to work with somebody who I haven't worked with for a while. Like, I love working with my boy. Like, obviously Naya, like, I love working with him. He's like one of my best mates like ever. But it's also good to see what other people might. Do you know what I mean? Like, some people might see something else. So you get different opinions, and this year I was able to actually, so he introduced me to, so it was a place called Dina Optic, which is like a sort of, they did my eye, like they tested out my eyes, and they also tested my cognitive function. So how well I can track things in my peripherals and stuff like that. And I've started to work on that sort of stuff, because for me, it wasn't that great, to be honest. Like, he was looking at the score and he was all going, like, you know when you're not doing very well. You're not doing very well. So I was like, okay, I actually need to work on this. And no, I do see some improvements in terms of that. So like, just different things that maybe my boy hasn't quite, or it doesn't really work on. It's just literally just a different opinion. But ultimately I'm getting the same results and I'm going up. So That's all that matters.
And going back to kind of like the Czech question, so when he's speaking to you, do you understand absolutely everything that he says to you? Like,
Do you know what? Right. So going back to, so we obviously talked about Slovakian earlier, right? So he's actually Slovakian.
Oh God. Okay.
So he's Slovakian, but he's also, but obviously he's been working in Czech Republic so long that like he's both. Like sometimes, like it's very small difference, but like obviously you go 3 for 3, but he'll go 3, like just roll it rather than like it's like a yeah, do you know what I mean? That sort of sound. So so like just like you notice the subtle differences, but yeah, no, he talked Czech and I talked Czech back to him, so managed to navigate that. And if there was something that I wasn't quite sure on, then and it was easy enough to say in English, he might have said it, but I think there was maybe only like once that he actually said something in English, which I was actually quite proud of.
Well done, well done.
Yeah.
Going back to kind of like life in Belfast, like how do you spend your free time? Or what?
Free time, I'm a bit of a gamer myself. I like so I'm big into F1, so I do play a bit of F1. I do. So I've also, so there's a coach out here that I can't remember how we sort of met. Actually, no, sorry, we met. So there was one day, one of the boys, he just goes, "Oh, do you want to come? Do you want to come with me? We're doing some like sort of coaching stuff." And I was just like, "Yeah, okay, no problem. I'll come over. I'll give it a go and everything." And obviously I met the coach through that. So sometimes I do little bits and pieces for him, help him out and repost his things on Instagram. So do that as well sometimes on a Wednesday. And yeah, other than that, like we're home at sort of in between 3 and 4 most days anyway. So like it's almost like a normal, I guess a normal ish working day, maybe like an hour or so earlier. But like, do you know what I mean? Like it's we get home and a lot of the time it's just chill because you've had a hard day or something like that. So just focus on recovery.
Like how often do you kind of like socialize? I know you live with 3 of your teammates, but how often do you kind of like socialize? Do you go into the center of Belfast, or do you kind of like?
Yeah, well, a lot of the time, like if let's say we've had a good win or something like that, or scored a couple of goals, might go out just for the night or something like that with the boys. So just have a bit of fun. Don't do it very often. I don't drink, which is oddly enough coming from Czech Republic. So
We do.
We do it for you.
you can have mine. But like so sometimes we go out. We go out for food quite a lot. There's some nice brunch places out here, so we go out for some food and that. So just try not to be too just in the house too much, I guess.
Do you cook? Can you cook?
I do cook, yeah. Well, we all sort of cook for ourselves because I guess we've all got our own different tastes. Like one of the boys is he's called Fuad Sule and he's Nigerian, so he likes his sort of Nigerian food. I'm more basic. I must be honest. I'll usually go for, so in M&S over here they've got like these sort of deals, and I sort of go for like stir fry stuff or like their pasta sort of deal. So I'll go for that. Nothing too tricky.
You're not trying your hand at the Czech dishes yet, then?
Well, do you know what? Right, I did try. What did I try? I was kind of looking over at like how my mum was doing goulash back home. But I sort of leave that to my mum. I do actually, you know what, right? Potato salad.
Very nice.
Potato salad.
I like it.
That one's not too difficult. That one's not too difficult. I could do that one.
So I
honestly, I love it.
So what about a Christmas dinner then? Is it carp and potato salad for you, or is it an English?
So it's kind of, do you know what? It's a mix, right? So when I was living back home, it was almost half and half, right? So my mum we'd make the potato salad the night before, let it sort of be in the fridge and whatever. but then we'd get a chicken actually rather than a turkey, just purely because chicken. I think chicken's a bit nicer anyway. But like it's sort of like a hybrid. So I've got like half a plate of potato salad with chicken, and then like roast potatoes on like the other half, and like things like, you know what I mean? It's kind of hybrid, but I'll tell you what, it's lovely.
Have you ever
Love
spent
it.
Christmas over here?
In Czech Republic.
Yeah.
I've well, I have once, but I was two, but so I won't remember it. But no, I was never able to, just purely because of football. We always sort of
Of course.
had stuff going on. So like in terms of games and that, so like it's not always easy to get over.
So you've never tried Christmas carp?
I haven't. Unfortunately, I haven't.
You're a lucky man. You are a lucky man. You're a lucky
Honestly,
man.
I would love to do it, right, because I always get photos from my auntie and uncle of what they've got, and they've obviously got zakuski as well. On the like for after and everything. I'm just like, oh, I would love some.
Oh wow! When you started talking about Marks and Spencers, I was thinking you were going in there for the meal deal.
Not for the meal deal, no.
An Oasis, a packet of.
Do you know what, Ralph? That would be
some pepperoni.
That would be terrible. That would be terrible from me.
Hey, I have to ask David, like, what's it like playing at the Oval? It's like, it's a holy grail for groundhoppers. Craggy, you won't like me using the word groundhopper, but like it's a real holy grail. I mean, I'm sure that half the attendance is either German or English or Dutch groundhoppers every week. But what's it like playing there?
Do you know what? Right, I didn't really know much about it going in. Like, I'll be completely honest, I didn't really know much about Glentoran when I went over. But like, as soon as I got into the stadium, I was like, I first looked at it, I was like, this is old. But like when you actually think about it, like it's just so it's an amazing ground. Like when you go up into the boardroom and then you look out onto the pitch from like sort of higher up in the stand, you're just like, wow, like this is really something. It's quite special. Obviously you got the planes coming so low, like over the top of the ground, like it's crazy. Like it's almost like you can touch them. Like it genuinely is, they're so low. So it's actually it's a really cool place to play football, and it's definitely somewhere where eventually after I move on, like it will be somewhere where I'll look back on and be like, I managed to actually play somewhere that's really special. So no, it's somewhere where I'll definitely look at and be like, this is a very special place, very special.
Craggy, I don't know if you know this, but at Glentoran, it's called the Oval. But right, I think it's behind the goal. There's an old pillbox, the original pillbox, because during World War II, like it was the highest point in Belfast or something like that, where they had a real good view of the city. So the British soldiers used to be there, and it's the original. It's still there. I think it might be listed now.
It's on top. I think it's on top of the hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
There,
it's nice to think you can't really go in there. I think it's under the Ministry of Defence or something. But like the Oval was bombed during World War II, and like it was rebuilt by Glentoran fans, by the people of kind of East Belfast, and it's an incredible stadium. And like I think there's only like 4 turnstiles or something, isn't there?
To get into so like the 4 turnstiles are like right at the front, and obviously the fans sort of disperse round like that. It's like I've not actually like been out there whilst fans are coming in, but I can imagine it's quite hectic.
Can you imagine, like in the 60s, there was like 60,000 there for Juventus at home.
Yeah.
And apparently people were climbing over the terrace.
Yeah.
To get in there.
Absolutely, yeah. Like they've had some real historic games played at the Oval. Like obviously they've had, due to safety and everything like that, they've had to reduce capacity down.
What is the capacity? Do you know? Or
I believe it's 6. I want to say 6, but don't quote me on that. It's around that though.
And like the tunnel is really narrow, isn't it? Is that right?
Oh, like super narrow. I I usually like to do a few jumps before the game. and sometimes I forget like I'm at the back of the tunnel where it's so narrow and like small, and like I've hit my head a couple of times. I'll be honest, like because I like to do my jumps and like be ready and everything. Like I get myself going, and just especially the first time that I lined up, I hit my head, and yeah, that one was quite sore actually.
Both teams go out of the tunnel.
Yeah, both.
Not at the same time.
Yeah, same time, same time. Yeah.
And when you're coming back in at half time and you've had like
it's yeah, it's
party, is it can
yeah,
have a couple or
yeah,
two?
yeah,
Bit
very
cozy
tight,
and
very tight. Like you can't really go side by side, but like there's just about enough room, just.
Yeah,
amazing.
Are you okay with the defenders? None of them have been waiting for you in the tunnel at half time, have they?
I've been all right so far. I mean, I'm not really that type of yeah, I'm not really that type of player to start like standing on toes and pinching and that. Like that's not really a bit of me. But
You got sent off last year though, didn't you?
I did get sent off, yeah, for a tackle. That was a tackle. Arguable. That was a very arguable one. I personally don't think it was. I've seen worse. And kept not even a booking. So, I mean, it was just it at the end of the day, it's the ref on the day. So, the ref on the day that makes the decision. Can't do anything about it.
What was it you said about referees at the last game, Ralph?
I said referees are only human. And it's I was trying to understand why the referee, because I think referees they're like, okay, all right, so okay, Glentoran, they did all right in the first half, so I'm going to try and even it up in the second half,
Yeah.
And show my human touch, and I'm sure referees like that. They're thinking,
I think so as well.
This is
like maybe maybe they know they've made a mistake, giving somebody a foul, and they're like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna give them something a bit cheap or something like that. Like it's human, but like at the same time, it's frustrating when you're on the opposite end of that. So,
did you argue with him? Did you kind of like did you know you were going to get? Was it straight red?
Straight red. Yeah, I can't lie. So so we've both kind of gone in. So I've gone in for the tackle. To be fair, to be fair to him, it's at speed. I don't think it's that out of control, but like. Obviously, it's opinion, right? So I've got up, and obviously, like no one's at first, no one's sort of gone for it, and then they've sort of realized, oh, he's on the floor rolling around. Every single one of their players has come over to me and started pushing me and everything like that. So I think the ref's gone, oh, that it must have been bad, and just gone bang, and then I seen the red card come out, and that do you know what? Right, that walk back to the tunnel is the worst feeling ever. Worst feeling. You just feel like you've let everybody down, and it's just, yeah. We were 2-0 down then, so that was game, set, match that at that point.
So, you get fined?
No, luckily. Luckily. Can't lie. There was a few jokes. There was a few jokes, Ralph, saying, "Oh, your paycheck at the end of the month's going to be a bit short." So I was like, "Oh, please."
And are you waiting? I don't know. Like when you get a red card, are you like waiting in the dressing room afterwards? What?
Yeah. So, like, I think for a good 5. Well, I say a good 5 to 10. Like, obviously. Because I think it was 30 minutes into the game, I just sat there for like 15 minutes, just like, what have I done? Like, almost like that. And then obviously, boys come in at half time, and you can only say sorry, right? You can only apologize and just be like, boys, let you down, apologize for it. Nothing we can do now. But you feel horrible, you feel horrible.
Like for our listeners, like how would you? For our listeners, it sounds so good to say, doesn't it? For my mum, and your mum probably as well, David. How would you describe yourself as a player? Like I know you're a striker. Like, what type of player are you? Would you say?
So, I don't think so. I was actually we was actually talking about this the other day, right? In terms of what player like boys think I sort of play like. But like, because I think I'm a little bit unorthodox. I say unorthodox. I think I would probably put myself a bit more slightly in terms of running in behind, coming to feet. Like I think I do those basics quite well, especially channel running. I really like going into the channels, and if there's a ball to be won, like I'm gonna go for it, especially because I think I've got pace and everything like that. So I like running the channels, harrying defenders, something in my game that I want to probably introduce a little bit more in terms of working back, and maybe winning some balls from blind side. But no, I think I think I've got. I'm thinking. I guess jack of all trades. Like I think I've got a bit of everything, but I'm not really a master of something, if that makes sense. So I'd like to think I can do a bit of everything in terms of heading the ball in behind, into feet, good feet, stuff like that, but nothing sort of outstanding.
Yeah, because the highlights that I've seen, like, because you're really running at players at pace, aren't you? You're really running at players, and it looks. I would be scared if you're running towards me. I was always a right winger, so yeah, but you know, like you're just running at pace, and you could see that defenders are backing off you all the time.
Yeah, no, I think do you know what it was that really sort of I guess impressed myself last year was like the variety of goals that I scored. Like no goal I don't think was really exactly the same. Like I've scored goals from outside the box, inside the box, headers, penalties. I think I ticked a lot of boxes in terms of just all round different types of finishes. So I was really pleased with that, and I was really happy with that. So I'd like to obviously build on that this year and step on and hit that sort of 20 plus mark is sort of the aim at the moment.
Okay, have you?
Yeah, 20 plus aim.
Good man, good man, good man.
What does the future hold for you? I mean, you're at Glentoran at the moment, but any chances of signing for Blansko sometime soon?
Honestly, I would absolutely love to come and play over in Czech Republic. I've never hid it from anyone that I would love to go over and play, and it's one of my dreams to be able to play in the top division of Czech Republic. How I get there, when I get there, who knows? But like, it's definitely something where I've gone and been like, right, that's what I want to do. So even if I'm coming to the end of my career and I just go, right, I'm coming to Blansko, so
yeah, but
we'll play just to experience it. Like,
yeah, we'll keep the song for you. We'll keep the song.
Hey, keep it. Definitely.
Like Vyshkov yesterday, they had a player playing for them that was playing for Southend last year, some English guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, which is interesting because their recruitment has been more towards Africa, because I think the owner is like, I think he's from Ghana originally, lives in America, but he's got likes to sign players and then sell them on. They've done it very successfully. But I saw yesterday that was a young kid from Southend. So, yeah. Because they didn't get back to you then. Did your agent got in touch, didn't he, right, when you were between clubs?
Yeah, no, they didn't get no one. I think at the time as well, right? If you're released by sort of like a League Two side, I think that is a lot more difficult. And I think they sort of they potentially look at your transfer market and look at that and go, he hasn't got a value or something like that. Like now, like I've got a decent profile now. I was able to. I think it was actually really good that I could go off here and have a good season, and obviously have another good one this year. And you never know what the future might hold. So
there's there was a club in for you, wasn't there, from Scotland? Airdrie were in for you, weren't they?
There's been a couple. There's been a couple sniffs. There's been a couple. So obviously, I'm really. It pleases me to sort of see that clubs are coming in because you're doing something right. Do you know what I mean? So like if you wouldn't have clubs coming in for you if you weren't doing the right thing. So obviously take that as a compliment, and you never know what happens in football. So we'll see.
Of course. Get those 20 goals for Glentoran.
No, exactly. 20 goals.
League and Cup double, and then I think
a League and Cup double would be unbelievable here. I think I might have my first drink.
What's your opinion of like Czech football? Because you've watched a few games, haven't you? I mean,
Yeah.
you
I
had
came
the
over last year.
yeah,
Oh,
well,
I say
didn't
last
you?
year, last time I was over.
Yeah,
I had a range of games out that I've seen before. I've actually been and seen Sparta twice. I watched them in a pre-season game, and I watched them when I was younger, and I watched them again in the summer. Because one of my mates, he actually works as a sports scientist over there, so he was able to get me a ticket for the last game of the season, which wasn't easy, obviously, being title winners and everything like that. So stadium was packed. Obviously playing against Plzen as well, massive game. So that was really good to watch the standard and everything. And obviously he gave me a little bit of an insight into what they sort of look for in players, and like it's just something to sort of build on and try and get towards. If I can get myself towards those sort of stats and what he was telling me, he took off a box. So obviously going forward, like it's something that you wanna look at. But I also went and saw Bohemians versus Pardubice. So that one was you can tell the quality difference. Let's put it that way. Between, I would say, you've got your top three, maybe your top, I guess maybe top four, whatever, for the season, and then your quality difference sort of drops off a little bit. I say drops off, but that's because the standard of those three are so high, if that makes sense. They're playing obviously Champions League football. Most years, one team at least gets into the Champions League, or you got Europa and Conference League teams in there. So like the standards not low. So yeah.
yeah. Zlina, your team, aren't they?
Zelina's my team. I say unfortunately, but like every team has their sort of periods, don't they? So you can't just support them when they're playing in the Europa League, can you?
Hey, but they're at the top. One of our ex players was playing for them, so I went to see them a few times, like last season. Like Zlin, he's at Prostiop, but yeah, he's
Okay.
a striker as well, actually, striker as well. But I think he scored a hat trick for Zlin last season, but then he got injured as well, and
And he got injured.
then he got injured, scored a hat trick. You know, it's just life, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Highs and lows of football, eh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, David, I think that's probably wrapped it up quite nicely, actually.
So
Anything else, Greggy? Anything?
No, that's it. I just want to say a massive thank you for being a brilliant, talkative guest. It's been an excellent.
no.
Excellent interview.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me here.
Well, děkuji moc krát za tvůj čas. Hodně štěstí. Jo, doufám, že Glentoran bude vyhrát.
Jo, děkuju. Děkuju moc.
Jo, to je hezký večer. Měj se krásný.
Jo, hezký večer. Ciao.
Ciao.
So thanks to David for that, and for taking a long time with us and answering all our questions, of which we had many. Hopefully we'll talk to him again. So good luck for the rest of the season, David.
Hodně štěstí, Davide.
And to all you listening, thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah, thank you for sticking with us. Yeah, we really appreciate it. Feedback's been great, and yeah, thank you. Just thank you. It's always nice, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me. Forza Blansko.
See you later.